Welcome to Uniquely Brilliant, a podcast for creative, quirky, and extraordinary thinkers of all ages and the people who love them. We encourage, inspire, and provide strategies to motivate you to embrace your unique brilliance and realize your potential for success. Hi, I'm Diana Bader, also known as Coach Di. I encourage teens and young adults to become who they are and develop personal success through self-awareness and positivity. You can find me at freshcanvascoaching.com, follow and like the Fresh Canvas Facebook page, or follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Di.
Hello there, I'm Becky Berry. I am a performance coach who helps people level up their lives by smoothing out the relationship between their work lives and their personal lives. You can find my website at beckyberrycoach.com. I'm on Twitter at Becky Berry Coach, and you can find me on my Facebook page, Becky Berry Coach.
Together we are here sharing our thoughts, insights, and experiences from our own uniquely brilliant perspective. All right, it's episode 105. 105 for Becky.
100.
And
100.
Today we're talking about how to short circuit those energy sucks.
We thought that was an important topic for December.
Oh, absolutely.
I wonder why.
Oh, yeah.
Man, forget about the holidays. It's the end of the year. And oh, by the way, I'll look it up right now. What episode was our calendar episode? Do you remember?
No.
Hold on, I'll look. Hold on. So I'm gonna come back to that. But we talked about taking the calendar doesn't have to end.
Yeah.
At the end of December, but that's not the messages we're getting from around us. So that's an energy suck right there.
Exactly. Well, and I was thinking when you mentioned December with the energy, short circuiting the energy suck, if it was only as easy as my lights going out on my house or my tree, it's always that one strand that just kind of short circuits all on its own.
And then we get all crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I totally know what you're talking about.
So as far as energy's, always on my mind this time of year.
Oh gosh, right? Who is it not?
Well, for me in particular, because there's so many social things being the introvert,
right?
And very empathic, walking into a room, I know is going to be an energy suck from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to kind of prepare myself for that and accept and choose the invitations I want to go to.
Yeah. And that works.
Sometimes. Sometimes. It's really funny because there's been some parties that I've looked really forward to in the past.
Yeah.
And something like a loss in a football game has happened prior to the party.
I know. Are you talking to somebody who went to Georgia? Would that be me? You didn't want to be around me the next day after Auburn beat Georgia.
Oh.
And I was like, what? It's a football game.
Well, and I've been to some big parties where something like that had occurred like earlier in that day.
Yeah.
And, one of those 3:30 games and an 8 o'clock party and you walk in and everybody's in a bad mood. It's like, okay, I want to go home. Because I can feel that energy the second I walk in.
Yeah.
And sometimes it lightens up and sometimes it's like, okay, let me go find somebody else to... Yeah. And that's really what I do. I mean, I walk into a room, into a party, and I can instantly okay, it's like a beacon. Okay, who's got the positive energy? Who's not going to kill me right from the start so I can acclimate myself with all these people here?
Is there anybody in this room that's smiling?
Well, it's just, and I used to have a few go-to people that I know, okay, are they here? Because...
Please be here. I know. I'm just yeah.
Let me just get to it.
Yeah.
But that's me, and that's my empathic and my introverted energy that, being surrounded by lots of people. Even when I was a kid, I would take my toys after Christmas and go sneak up to my room and hide out for a little while just to okay, yeah,
all the craziness.
Let me be.
Yeah, all the craziness.
Please.
Well, I think it's really important during the holidays to pay attention to your energy levels.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for people who are introverts like you, that you gotta schedule breaks.
Oh yeah.
Right? You've got to go into that party with a plan. I talk to my clients a lot about this because people go, oh, you can't look for a job during the holidays. I'm like, are you kidding me? if you know what you want to do, it's a great time to look for a job because you see a lot of people and you can talk.
That's a great point.
What are you up to? Well, if you've taken the time, and it takes a lot of time to figure out how to talk about what you want to do, you never know what can happen. And if you're an introvert, the plan I suggest for my clients who are introverts, which are the vast majority of them, they must be attracted to my extrovert personality, is that you go in with the plan. You're going to meet 3 people. You're going to go early so you don't walk into a crowd. That's really important. I read that somewhere and I was like, oh, yeah, that does make sense. And then when I shared it with my clients, they're like, oh, wow, that's brilliant. So then you can usually like talk to the organizer or somebody and see people as they come in, and it's more on your terms than their terms. So if your goal is to stay, I have them set 2 goals. How many people are you going to meet and how long are you going to stay there? And whichever one you finish first, you get to leave. So if you're only staying 15 minutes and you've met 1 person, you get to leave. If you want to stay and meet 2 more, you can. But those boundaries, our favorite topic, like what was that episode 103? In episode 103, we talked about boundaries. Those boundaries actually leave you feeling more powerful so that the vast majority of them end up staying until they meet the 3 people. And some of them keep going because since they had a plan, that fear's not so bad. But I also have them give an upper limit. I'm like, okay, so when do you picture that your energy will start being sucked out of you? Like, you're riding on this crest of an energy wave. When you're in there, you're nervous, you got that nervous energy. Now, when does that start to turn around? And, it's usually 45 minutes to an hour. I'm like, all right, so you're leaving in an hour. But I'm like, no buts. Walk out the door for an hour. Even if you just go to the bathroom, whatever, you need a break and then come back. And that plan, those boundaries, makes it doable. Because, boundaries manage your energy, don't they?
Yep, absolutely. And one of the things that I do too is I look at what I'm planning the next day.
Oh, I like that.
Because
how much energy you need.
Yeah, or how I'm going to replenish it.
Oh, so I would never think about that.
Because
that's
for me, one of the best ways for me to replenish my energy is to be out in nature. So, being out on a walk or something like that, go for a run, but somewhere that's not going to have a bazillion people.
Right.
Is going to start replenishing my energy so I can do something the next night or whatever and build it back up. Because, if you don't do something, if you don't have something in place, then, those levels stay low.
You and I just participated in a huge, gigantic energy suck. We should talk about this.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks ago, we went to a speaking boot camp something. And we were looking forward to it, kind of. It was a week before Thanksgiving. And we were. And I had won a free entry into it. And I could share it with Diana. And hers ended up being free too. And we got first, full disclosure, Diana, thank God Diana has a cool head. I made the hotel reservations for the wrong week. Going, what a great deal, $79 hotel rooms in downtown Atlanta during the week. Yeah, because that was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and Thursday of Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, we were down there the week before. So we had to find a hotel. We're already sucking everybody's energy out at this point.
No, you're not even the best part. Because before we even got on the road...
Oh my gosh, that's right!
It was the worst traffic
gosh
I had seen in years, and with no real reason. I mean, I think we averaged 12 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, it was going to take us 2 hours to make a 45-minute trek down to downtown, and we stopped halfway. So we ended up stopping
almost an hour and a half.
Right, it was crazy.
It was nuts.
It was insane. So that's how we started. Suck that energy right out of us. Luckily, we were together, so it wasn't that bad of an energy suck. And then, and it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous, and I felt stupid. And I know it happens, but it doesn't matter. I still felt ridiculous. So, the next morning we get up, and they're all like they have these very stringent rules that, you have to be here at this time, and blah, blah, blah. So we get there, and the first thing is it starts 15 minutes late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, after this, be here, boop, boop, boop. 15 minutes late it starts. I'm like, Oh, no. The first thing was we were there 5 minutes early and they wouldn't register you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I was like, okay.
No, go take a seat.
And this is a very slick thing, but this whole language around it has been, and they've been pinging us, and if you don't tell us where you're staying, we're canceling your we should have known. When you got the email about canceling the registration because you didn't have a hotel, I got one was please confirm.
Yeah.
But when you got that one, we should have been like, this is not the right energy for us.
Well, and there were clues in the language.
Right?
And that's something with invitations during the holiday season or with anything that you're being invited to.
Right.
Check the language.
Right.
Because that's going to give you a huge clue.
That word required?
Yeah.
Flee.
That doesn't work.
Required equals flee.
Yeah, don't tell me to be
Flee.
required for anything.
Mm-hmm. Preferred is marginal.
Or suggested.
That's marginal. Those are marginal words. Well, and for the friends that we had told we were going, who know this person, were like, well, yeah, okay. Now I know why they said like, well, yeah, okay. And said, oh, that's great. And then this person was actually appearing with another person who 2 different people said, oh, if we'd known that, we would have told you not to go. So we get there, okay? And then 15 minutes late starting after all this craziness. The good part was we're in downtown Atlanta, so we walked there. We got a little Starbucks. I like, me. I like that city experience, and Diana can tolerate it.
Well, no, I was prepared for it.
You were ready.
I was prepared.
You were
for
mentally prepared for it. I just love it. Just like dive in, comfort level. So we go, and the first thing. Do you remember when they opened the door? OMG, the thump of the bass made me literally nauseous. It was like, we were on that 6th or 8th floor. I swear you could have heard that on the first floor.
Oh, yeah. It was loud.
We should have gone down and tested it.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Just go down there, because there's stairs. It's open, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go down there and test it and go, oh, you can hear this down here. How inappropriate is that? Of course, I had just read an article in Real Simple that week about how bad that is for your ears, about how people are really now finally talking about noise pollution. Anyway, I couldn't even stay in the room.
Well, and you would think, being the introvert and everything that I am, that I couldn't. But what I can do with stuff like that is completely go inside.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I completely checked out.
But I couldn't handle the vibrations in my body.
No.
I even had my Rode earplugs that I use for concerts, for rock concerts, and I still couldn't stand it. And it just got worse. So here they are. I'm all jarred. I flee to the bathroom to get as far away from this sound as and I come back in and I just can't do it. And I come back in. And then they come in. And it's really loud.
Yeah, even the microphones were very loud.
It was very loud. And then the language. I'm not talking cussing. I'm talking the energy. Excuse me, what am I talking about? We're talking about energy sucks. Their energy sucked the energy right out of me. Blaming, shaming, all this stuff, plus strutting around like little roosters, which always, I'm okay if you have a little touch of humble in there, but oh my gosh. And then at one point I left crying because it was a trigger. It was triggers. Seriously, I'm not 22 years old. Triggers, but it was the language and that energy, and it was just, you're less than, and you're stupid, and how can you not get this? Why don't you understand this? And it's the first time any of us have been introduced to this stuff. And I know boot camp. I don't have any problem with boot camp format. I have a problem with abuse. Mm-hmm. And that was... And Diana's like all calm and chill, and I'm like...
No, well...
But you went inside.
I did. I went inside.
I colored a lot.
Yeah, you did. Well, you have to do something active. Mm-hmm. And I completely checked out. Mm-hmm. And I never check out. Mm-hmm. I always know that I'm going to find a nugget somewhere. And
we did.
And I get
disclosure, we did. But it took a while.
Well, it wasn't necessarily from the host.
Right. It wasn't from the host. Yes.
So I turned it into a different experience for me. I did have a little bit of expectations, at least on the topic, because it was the topic.
Right? It's what we wanted to learn about, right?
I did. So I don't consider that a really bad expectation, but I did not get that. So, my brain goes to filtering, okay, what can you get out of this? You're here, and because, one of my love languages, which is another energy thing, is time.
Right.
And so I don't like my time being sucked any more than I liked my energy being sucked. To me, it's the same thing.
Oh, I was just going to say, right?
So when you're sucking my time and my energy, and there were some other things I could have been dealing with at the time.
There were a lot of things you could have been doing at the time.
So
I'll just repeat, this was the week before Thanksgiving. Just saying.
So it was like, okay, what? And, we hung around hoping, I think.
We got a little reward in the middle.
Yeah. Hoping that there'd be a little bit more to it. But towards the end, that's when I really checked out.
And we went to dinner.
Well, I checked out before dinner.
Oh, when they were when they were doing those circle things.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
The successful people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
And then and it turned out that we were at a table of people who were very similar to us, because there was this crazy activity they were doing that was all bizarre. It was just bizarre, and I do bizarre stuff.
Oh, I love
Diana does like crazy bizarre stuff. I can't even hold a candle to the bizarreness of the exercises she can do in a coaching situation. I can't even hold a candle, but I do like suck it up and try to learn it. But this was like judgy and all that stuff. Yeah. All that stuff. And there were the 6 of us at this table, and we're like, I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, you know what? There was that one thing. Do you remember? She did this. The woman did this, and she said, because when you go to these things, it's about making multiple millions of dollars. That's not why I was there. And so finally they do ask you that. Raise your hand if you're here to make multiple millions of dollars or multiple 6 figures or whatever, or if you're really here just to make a good living, a great living. That's when my hand went up.
Yeah. And
I went, hey, she labeled it, so that's great. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was a check. All right, we get a check. That was one thing we both got out of that. And then the next presenter came up, and we got a lot out of that one. I still have those notes.
Yeah, I did.
I like the way he framed it up.
Yeah, I did. The funniest thing to me, though, was that they presented him as a great presenter.
Oh, and he wasn't.
No, and so I got from that, I can do this.
Right?
It's total not the message I was supposed to get, but hey, that's the one I got.
I like what he had to say. I like what this guy had to say. Mainly because he reinforced something I just coached on. And that's always good when you hear another coach up on a stage, formulating something in a similar way that you did. And I was like, oh, okay, yes. Yay me. So after that, I think there was one other thing, and then it was dinner, and we never returned. No. Because it was supposed to go to 10 o'clock that night, and then start again at 7:30 the next morning, and go to 10 o'clock that night, and we're like...
And then again Saturday.
And we're like, no. We're just done.
I had other things that were more important.
So we reclaimed our energy by walking to a diner and having dessert before we had the meal. Because, it worked. I'm glad we had to walk. And I'm glad I got us lost twice. Because we got to, work out that energy, know? And it was a nice night.
Well, that was the fascinating thing to me about that night, too, was it was gorgeous. I mean, it was gorgeous until we left, and then all of a sudden that weird wind kicked in. But yeah, it was a great night to be walking around in the city. Yeah. And to be sort of releasing the day.
Yeah. It was funny. Mm-hmm. She brought us our dessert first. That was so fun. That was just so fun. It was so awesome. And we were like, yeah, we're doing this.
Because sometimes, you need that. Well, and you know what I'm picturing as you were talking about this is how I felt. I felt like I was in there sort of sitting in a hazmat suit.
Oh, I love it.
Because
that's how you deal with the energy suck. Put your hazmat suit on. Okay, that's a visual. Was it orange or yellow?
Mine was white. Mine was those
the white one. Ooh, the astronaut one.
And so I could take stuff in through the little visor. Uh-huh. But other than that, you can't touch me.
Oh man, I love that. So that you were keeping yourself from that energy being painted all over you. Mm-hmm. Oh man. See, I learned something in the podcast today.
Yeah,
because I can do that kind of visualization.
And I mean, and those situations pop up all the time with your energy. Is you can go in and
we usually don't choose them. We're usually a little better at that. But boy, that was insane. Oh, and this is why I asked the question: what did you do the next day?
What did I do the next day? I slept in.
I barely moved all day. I'm telling you. Uh-huh. And here I am in a room of 300 people, and I was drained. That doesn't happen to me. Does not happen to me.
No, because that wasn't... Well, and that's one of the things that I wrote down for my notes for today is it's not just about any energy. Because, I mean, you're a great extrovert. You love the people energy. It's got to be the right energy.
Right.
And that is really key. So you going into a hostile environment when you're not prepared for a hostile environment it will drain you like faster than anything.
Right. And here's the thing. If it's an energy suck, you get to leave.
Yes.
You know, I did feel some guilt because I was given that free thing. But then I figured out about 75%, about at least 50% of the people there came for free. Because I kept seeing other things like that, which is fine. Lovely, great. So I realized I didn't have to participate in anything that was sucking me dry. Again, because normally in something like that, I'll find somebody and connect with them. And it wasn't because I was sitting with you. It was because that energy paralyzed me.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't even paralyze me. It was like ripping off a scab or something.
Actually, you know, I was just thinking, what did I do that next day? And I did. I got up with my son for school. When I got home, I'm like, dude, I'm going to bed. You don't want to.
Don't be near me.
I talked to him.
I don't want to rub this on you.
He's looking at me like, whoa, Mom. I went back to bed, actually, after he went to school. I got up and I went and I ran in the woods at the park for a while.
It's like flush it right on out.
And then I was over at your house for dinner.
Oh, gosh, that's right.
And so I had your energy and Tanya's energy. And so I was surrounding myself, like feeding myself back
and we
positive
had a great
energy.
time. Yeah, we did. We had an awesome time. 3 women who watch football. Doesn't get any better than that. You know,
So
that is right. I totally forgot. Because it was 2 weeks ago, doesn't exist anymore.
But that's a real important thing, is to know what to do to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And to do it.
Well, that's how you short circuit it. You know, that's how you turn it in from an energy suck. You know, we turned it into less of an energy suck by leaving when we did.
Yep.
You know, and talking about it. I think you can short circuit the energy suck by telling somebody this is an energy suck.
Or even by journaling it, by doing that thing, get it out of your head.
Right.
Get it somewhere else.
Yeah, get it out of you so that it doesn't have it's like clammy hands all over your brain.
Yeah, pop it out like a battery. Replace the battery with something better.
I love it. Well, I think a calendar can be an energy suck. Because, you know, we're talking about it's the holidays, December, end of the year, yada, 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 right? Yada, yada, yada. Episode 99 is a calendar episode. I told you I'd look it up. And my calendar is a major energy suck sometimes. I'm lying. Most of the time. Because I think I said in this episode that it's only real on the calendar if you do it. Right? Otherwise, it's just like Sanskrit on a piece of paper, right? It's not real. So with that approach, it becomes an energy suck. Instead of going, oh, look, it's a boundary. It's a boundary. I can short circuit that by going, oh, look, there's a boundary. So I know I've already committed to do these things, and I can do these things. And I'm going to honor those. And by honoring those, I set a boundary that I'm not going to do other stuff. And using your concept, the calendar's whatever you need it to be. Sure, it turns from 2017 to 2018 on December 31st and January 1st. But if your projects go into January, if your planning goes into February or March, well, your year's not really ending.
Yep.
It's more of it's a continuum. And when I try to employ that, which I'm practicing, it really does make it it does short circuit the suck.
Well, it gives you more control over it. The other thing that, and we're going to talk about down in future episode, is a lot of people get so attached to their calendar.
Oh yeah,
that
it's going to be the Velcro episode. Stay tuned.
It's you feel like you have to do that. You know what? You can cancel stuff.
Who says, right? Have you found this? When I cancel stuff on my calendar or reschedule it, whoever I'm canceling and reschedule it with, 99.5% of the time it's like, thank you so much. And here I've been like torturing myself for 2 days, right?
Well, and I find, you know, like doctor's offices or other people have no problem canceling on me. You know, I used to feel terrible about it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, yeah, it's not going to work.
Right. I have an appointment to take my mom to the eye doctor the week after I take her to the regular doctor, I said, hey, Mom, can we do this in January? She's like, yeah. Boom.
Cool.
Boom. It's just, you short circuit these energy sucks by being aware of them, right? By being aware of them and enforcing your boundaries.
And one of the best things to do with that is if you look at something, if you look at an upcoming event or whatever it is that's, a meeting with a friend, whatever, if you feel energized by it, it's a good thing. If you feel drained and you haven't even done it yet.
Oh my gosh. That dread.
Yeah, the dread.
By the way,
need to rethink it.
Which is what we should have done. Because at the end, we were both dreading it.
Yeah.
We were. I mean, we did it, and we were all game.
Yeah. I mean,
but we were dragging our feet.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. We were.
Well, and the universe was dragging us down there for sure.
Right. And then the base is pushing me out the door, and I'm like, because I did say that. I'm like, this is like it's literally pushing me out the door. So pay attention. Trust yourself.
Trust the universe. Trust God. Trust whoever it is you need to trust. But yeah, because I don't take subtle clues very easily.
It's one of those things we have in common. And we need the hammer.
In hindsight, those are some big clues.
3 hours of traffic, right?
Oh wow!
It still took us forever to get down there.
Well, yeah,
even after it.
So
I mean, just to the wrong hotel.
But yeah, pay attention to those. Those subtle things. Traffic is a great one. If something is preventing you, there was one event I was going to, and I can't remember what it was, but like a shoe broke, and then something else happened, and then it's like as you're getting ready for something that you're kind of only half-heartedly wanting to go to, it's like, oh wow, and if it's something that you feel like you're obligated to go to, that's when you go back and look at those boundaries that you've set for the evening and shorten them.
Right. Tighten them up.
Yep. And if you get there and things change, you can always expand them. But, but something is not making this worth your while.
Well, we went in because, like I said, I do a best and a worst case when I do this with clients for networking events or whatever that they don't want to do. Or that, that the introverts are like, total energy suck. We had said if we didn't like it, we could leave. So we had already given each other permission to do that, which was smart. I don't know that it's always easy to short circuit energy sucks. I think it is once you realize that it's going on.
Yeah, I think there's certain situations that it gets a little more challenging, especially family is involved, really close friends are involved, especially, friends that don't quite understand your energy style.
How you rock, yeah.
But yeah, because I mean, that's something that becomes very important. If you're not recognizing it in your kids around the holidays, and you've got people, don't force somebody to use the other energy because it's going to drain them, and then one way or another you're going to have some sort of meltdown,
right?
Be it an adult or a kid,
right? Exactly. I think that is so critical, and it's so. I think most of us are guilty. Most of us are guilty of pushing our kids to be extroverts when they're kids. Say hey, give them a hug, whatever. No, that's not good. I know you didn't do that because you're smarter than that, but I know lots of us who did.
Well, it doesn't even matter though if you're the parent, because the recipients are sometimes they don't get it.
Yeah, and although they care, they're not aware enough to know that this is, we're not just really pulling your leg. If you just keep bugging them, even though you don't feel like you're bugging them, if it's a quiet kid, you're bugging them, and they're going to eventually implode. And that's all on the adults.
Well, that's the same with the energy kids. If you're trying to keep an energy kid quiet and calm and sitting on your lap, and they're ready to burst out and want to go see everybody and are kind of sick of you,
you're sucking their energy out of them.
You're sucking their energy out just as easily.
Oh, I coached somebody on this week, a client who has a new job. I was coaching her on her boss, and she goes, we got to figure out a way to contain him. I'm like, contain his energy? I'm like, no, you don't. You just need to corral that energy. You need to give him specific work that's in his wheelhouse so that he can use that energy that way. I said, now, if you try to corral that and shut it down, no, that's not going to work. That's gonna backfire. And that's what happens is people use the opposite strategy from what you should be using. I mean, if somebody's high energy, you focus the high energy and let them use it. If somebody's quiet, you take advantage of that quietness, of that stillness. You don't force them to be, Santa Claus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Because I was just thinking about going to parties this time of year, or social events or work events or all that stuff, and know who you're going with, because I know a lot of introverts get insecure when their buddy, takes off. But if you know that the person you're with has got a flit around the room,
yeah,
be good with that. Go find where you're going to be.
Yeah.
And where, find the energy you want to be around.
Well, acknowledge that that's going to happen, right? Plan for it.
Yeah.
It's that whole planning for things.
Because I know a lot of couples that will go to these things, and whether they're couples as friends or couples as couples or whatever, and one will want to cling. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, you can't hold that energy down.
Well, and you short circuit the suck by having a plan.
And then
by having a plan. Just give it a little thought. I mean, we're not talking about think for days or hours even. Just give it 30 minutes. We're going to a party. Oh gosh, we're going to, Mary Jane and Sam's house, and, XYZ will be there. What are we going to do? How do you want to handle this? And the other thing is, when you do that, when you have that conversation with a partner, a friend, whatever, then you become a team, right? And we protected each other. I mean, this could have been even bigger suck than it was, but we kind of protected each other from it because we had thought about it, and we had talked about it together, and we had a plan together. It wasn't just one of us or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. And we recognized how the energy was affecting each other.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, guys, hope you have a great holiday season. This one will drop. When will this drop? The 15th, I think.
Okay.
On the 15th, of December 15th. So we're going to see if we can come up with a really good stamp of brilliance, because we think this one deserves one. Not like the others don't, but we will be right back in just a minute.
Alrighty, the stamp of brilliance is short circuit the suck with intentional energy strategies.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's brilliant. I think the intentional, right?
Yeah,
the intentional part is what short circuits it. Mm-hmm. Right?
You got to know what you're dealing with.
Right.
You got to take some time to look at it.
It's not the time to wing it. It's the time to be intentional. Mm-hmm. Love it.
Alrighty, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with a friend. Also take a minute to rate it and leave a review on iTunes. Check out our website at uniquelybrilliant.me and sign up to have the podcast delivered directly to your inbox. Shoot any thoughts, comments, and suggestions to talk, the number 2, us, at uniquelybrilliant.me. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook page. Don't forget to like us, and you can now find us on YouTube.
Yes, you can. Until next time.